So about a month ago, I got my new camera. And what a coincidence, Dehancer reached out to me at about this exact same time if I wanted to try out their color grading plugin for, in my case, Davinci Resolve, what I'm using to cut my videos with. But the plugin goes for almost every software that you're using. You can check that on their website, and they also have a version for your phone, an iOS version. Well, I just got an email that they updated their profile, so I guess they really stay up to date pretty well, which is great. And I'm going to show you that later, but first off, we're going to go into Davinci Resolve and just color grade some footage. The thing is, I always like my things to look more like a movie. I like stylized footage. I like things that look a bit different, where the colors are popping, so that's kind of my style, and I feel like Dehancer really has a way of making that work. I got this little video clip that I shot of myself in the garden, which looks like this in log. The first thing you can do is go into effects right here, and under the section open FX you will find Dehancer. You can just drag that onto your footage and it will show up here in effects. This is not a way I've been using it, but if that's something you want to do, you can. So I'm just gonna kick it out again, and then yeah, if you like to work with adjustment clips, maybe you came from Premiere, who knows. That's another way I was thinking at first, because I kind of had the thought of like grading my footage and adding it as an effect on top. So just blend it in as an adjustment layer. So you can obviously drag it as an effect onto your adjustment clip, use it like that. The way I like to use it is right in the color tab. You don't actually need more color grading than the plugin in itself, because it's already like completely transforms your footage from log or whatever you shot it in to the final image. So you can kind of work your way around nodes if you're new to that like me. Go into FX, find Open FX again, or I just search it up here and drag it right onto here, then I just connect it. Now it obviously doesn't look right because we need to set our input. You choose the camera on which you record that on. So mine is Sony A7S III, and I shot it in S-Log3 Gamma Cine. So we got a basic grade. If we turn that off, we just went from this image to that. Quick side note, you might be surprised, I'm using a pretty shitty ND filter, and the ND filter gives me this butterfly effect in the background. So this is why our blue is extremely messy. Like I said, I do like this stylized stuff, but obviously if you want to, that's why it looks like that, just to clear things up. The thing is, by default, there's a couple things activated that we're gonna disable right now, so we can go from top to bottom. We got film grain on, which we can see. I love that, but I want to add that later on top, so I will disable it for now, and everything else. Alright, so this is our basic grade. Okay, let's just do this with the other clips so you get an idea with the different, Here in the color tab, I'm just going to go here and copy my settings over to this clip. Let's see what it does. So this is obviously overexposed, so we can go down here. Like I said, you might want to add a note before and fix that there. You're not supposed to, mess up the exposure or white balance. So I think this is a pretty cool clip to show that too, So just the grading with Dehancer gives you this without doing anything but choosing your camera, which I think is pretty incredible, by the way. And here, once again, come on, see that? We went from this to this. Now we have not applied anything that the plugin can do, right? This is not yet a film look, this is just a basic transformation. You can do a lot with the plugin without knowing anything about it beforehand, so without watching any tutorials, you can just try it out. But just the other day, I went on the Dehancer website and they got amazing tutorials for each section, like film developer, film compression. And that actually teaches you a lot more. So I feel like the plugin is easy to use, but at the same time, if you really know everything about it, you can make your footage look even better. Now let's just work our way through the plugin from top to bottom. So at first we have our sections that is going to make it look like actual film. Obviously, to achieve the film look right here, you've got actually a lot of different options of profiles to choose from. And what I think is really interesting is that they're kind of each tailored to a certain white balance. So some of them are more tailored towards something you shot at night, while something else would suit for daylight. Now we have daylight here. It would be cool if there was a little indicator on the side. Now that's something you can obviously, gotta be enabled. You can obviously click through here and find something that you like. For example, this one. So much better. Like I like how the blues change. And with the push-pull slider, you can actually control clipping and achieve perfect tonal balance. So let's just see what that does. It's pretty subtle, but I'm just gonna keep it there. All right, let's move on to the film developer. So that one is for boosting the contrast or like making colors pop. And what I like about the color boost here is that it doesn't look like, you know, this unnatural adding saturation that is just not necessary. What I like in my images, if they have a certain natural look to it, like kind of desaturated, but if there's colors, I want those to really pop. And I kind of get the feeling that with this, you can, let's overdo it like crazy, but you see like it's doing it in an elegant way, you know. And then you can also, you know, boost your contrast, turn that down if that was something you wanted to do. It definitely boosts the color, like, dude. Okay, so you can play around with this. Like if you pick a film profile like the one I did, which basically desaturates the whole thing, I brought back the colors. So this is why the plugin does feel like there's a lot of options, and it feels like, I could have done it better like every time. But that's because I still need to learn. So it's actually motivating too, because I'm like, okay. But I can also just pick a different film profile and start my way again, you know. Film compression. This basically emulates the tonal range of a film, and you can fine-tune highlights and achieve an overall compressed look. Things that were shot on film it's just a whole different process that the footage was developed, right? You kind of compress the image so that it gives you the look as if it was shot on actual film. And from that point on, you can even continue grading more. So I hope that makes sense. Like that's something I still need to learn about. Then there's expand and print. So they give you 5 different options here as profiles. If you enable this. And saturation is actually the saturation. So like I said, with a few clicks, you can change a lot. So if you know your way around the plugin, you can actually, you know, do a lot with little time. But there's a target white, and if you want the white kind of yellow, I really enjoyed that because if I slide this to the left all the way, it gives me this, you know, like just not the difference. I mean, come on. So the white is a bit yellow, and that's very easy if you pick the target white like that. Now this was not shot in daylight. This was shot at night with a softbox. For now, I'm just gonna leave the image like that. It's a bit darker. All of this from film down to color head. Yeah, color head is, by the way, the section you can adjust the colors a bit more. So all of this is kind of fine-tuning the image so that it looks like film. And honestly, I would think it's cool if this whole section had a little box or something and a slider just to like dial in all of those settings at once. So if I wanted to say, I have the basic grade of Dehancer, and then I just want to add a little filmic look. So this all together gives me the filmic look. I feel like I could really, with this plugin, I can grade it like extremely strong, and then I can just blend it in like 10%, 20%, you know. This is how I work, so I think that would make it even easier. And it was separated from the effects, because from now, like going downwards, that's just the effects, which is pretty cool, because obviously we have film grain. I'm not going to go too strong with that, but I absolutely love it. You see what it does, just like that. It turns into analog, come on. And what I can't stand is when film grain looks like it's a layer on top and is not kind of in the image, but this one looks like it's actually burnt into it, you know what I mean? So I just absolutely love it. Then we have halation. Well, let's for now leave this off and just, let me just show you the effect. Yeah, see that? Like just around those, this might be a bit too much, but you get what I'm saying. So can blend this in really subtle. Or for each of these sections, what I really like is you get a custom button, and then you have a lot to like adjust and make fine tuning. But you know, you can just leave this at your preset and you're pretty quick with the grade. So it gives you these options to go deeper, but you don't have to. Then you have bloom. Yeah, like, I used to not like this effect at all, but since I've had this plugin, I was like, I can see the reason why people like this in certain situations. You know, it can make it work. Also, the film damage, once again, that's something, you have a lot of custom controls, but you can also just pick, you know, some of the presets here, and then just adjust the amount. And so that just works because the forest kind of works, but this image is still looking really digital. All right, the film grain definitely does a lot in that case. I think I put these videos on Instagram and I did not use Dehancer. I used my other color grade, so I really prefer what I'm doing now with it. It's a learning curve. Like it's been exactly 1 month for me into color grading. So once again, I'm going to use bloom now. All right, because come on, look at that. Film damage, just a little bit. I would never overdo that unless you want it. And we have film breath. And we have gate weave. So you see that, we might want to keep that off, like that's really, you know, how you like it. How I love that. Okay, that's a really easy way to achieve this look. Say you want those gone and you want it like, you know, you can play around with this and scale it as you like. Now for this image I probably wouldn't, but I really like, I like this option a lot. I like the edges of it. You see that? Like it's not that clean, so it actually looks pretty cool to me. If we enable the vignette, turn on the exposure, you see it looks extremely smooth. That's another thing I've been kind of masking out before myself, so I do prefer this, and I think it's really convenient. You've got all these sections in one plugin, so you don't need to jump around, add nodes and stuff like that. You know, all this is taking time. So if you want to go in and just add a little vignette, you can do this too. The output control basically goes from no Dehancer to everything that we've done, and you can dial that in. Now, honestly, I don't really see why. Like that's what I was thinking about. I don't really need to dial it in all the way from log, but it makes sense if you use it as an effect on top in that sense. But if I wanted to keep the basic grade of Dehancer at 100%, I would love to have an option to only dial in the effects and to only dial in the film style, you know? So maybe down under the output section, if there was 2 more sliders that says like only effects and only the film stuff, that would be perfect, at least for the way I'm using it right now, what I'm thinking. So I've been having a lot of fun because I was honestly scared to start color grading because it's taking all your time and then you are left with an image that is rather basic. But Dehancer made it fun, and before my chair is falling apart, let me show you the iOS version on my phone. I'm using my iPhone 13 mini. We're going to Filmic Pro, and we're just going to capture you right there. Just turn off this light here. Okay, what I do like about this is that it recognizes how my footage was captured. So it has recognized that this was shot in log, whatever we just shot it with. Like it reminds me of the Davinci interface. You go from top to bottom, and here you go from down left to right. Your developer, your compression, expand, print, color head. So yeah, we basically have the same effects. We have film grain, halation, bloom, vignette, film damage. And I do like that down below here, if you go into edits, you can actually make fine adjustments, fine tuning. And it's basically built like the desktop app. So I feel like if I know how to use the plugin in Davinci, I'm gonna have fun with this, even without, you know, using the app too often. And don't forget, if you decide to try out the plugin, to use the code China26, you get 10% off whatever plan that you want to try out. Once again, I really appreciated that I got to try out this plugin, and coming from somebody who was scared of color grading because I was never able to shoot in log before, I think I have come a long way in 1 month, and this literally made it so much easier for me to get into it and kind of, you know, not get frustrated with learning everything about nodes and still not getting the grade that you want. I compared it to my power grade that I've been using, so it's not just a lot I've been using, but I still got a better image out of Dehancer, to be honest, in most cases, just with 2 clicks like that. So I really appreciate that I was able to try that out, and I'm going to use it a lot because I'm planning to shoot some short films that I will also put on this channel, and I can't wait to do that. With the music videos that I want to shoot, I'm also completely leaning towards that film look. So this is what I'm going to achieve all the time with this plugin. So it is literally like exactly what I needed. So thanks again to Dehancer. And they actually asked me to do an honest review. So this is honestly my opinion. I'm not paid to say this, but I obviously got to try out the plugin for free. Take care, and I'm uploading every day till end of the year, so see you in my next video then. Also, do you want to know more about camera talk? Because I'm pretty much into camera lenses and all of that, and I don't know how much I want to incorporate of that on my channel here. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, maybe. Let me know. Wait, what do we go into the color tab? A lot of things need to be done. We need to take out the purples and the red. I'm actually enjoying it a bit.